So I'm here. I actually don't know, James, if we're going to use this beginning part of the video or not, but I'll just say it. So it'll be fun if people watch it. And our intention for coming together was that we wanted to spend more time around each other. We wanted to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And also because you're a pioneer in the Lumina Guild, and part of the intention that I feel in my heart is like an honoring in relationship to each one of the pioneers. And the honoring, part of the honoring is creating these interviews. So it's time that we get to spend together and I get to ask you questions and dialogue with you about, I'm sure, so many of the things that we both love.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for anybody that wants to get to know you better to be able to do that
Mm.
when they view the video.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. Since I am just also getting to know you, even though we both commented that we feel we've had that moment of like, oh, there you are. I've known you forever, but I am still getting to know you, practically speaking. I know you travel a lot. I know that it says Gentle Somatic Yoga and Somatic Wellness next to your name, but I thought it might be nice if it feels good to start with introducing yourself. And then you can choose to introduce yourself in any way you want. It doesn't have to be the normal way, by the way. What wants to
Okay.
come.
Okay. When I'm out in the world, and it's a very common question, people say, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Ugh," because I'm a global citizen. I travel around the world and I love being in different places. And I feel similarly with this question. So I really appreciate that you said start however you want. I'm like, okay, gosh. And also, first, Tiffany, thank you so much for this invitation. And before we started recording, we both dropped into prayer with intention. And I feel so blessed to be a part of this collective, the Lumina Guild. And one of the intentions is that hopefully this union, Tiffany and I are experiencing together, and now you as the viewer, that we all come together and remember the so that's how I'm going to start introducing myself is I enjoy and I'm passionate about remembering. I feel like coming into this planet in a human being, we have temporary amnesia. And so my life, passion, education, experience is involving myself with people, situations, education, where I and the people I'm with, we can remember. And my double, triple intention is through grace, ease, and flow, and fun, and generative, thriving abundance for all systems. So when I learned about the Lumina Guild and what you've invited us into this beautiful container, I thought, oh yes, 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 yes. So um, that's how I can start introducing myself because when I was 19, I had very little, like from conception until 19, I had very little memory of who I am today. And I had some pretty significant experiences at an early age that really dropped me into embodied states of unity consciousness. It was one way was through working with the Native Americans and north of San Francisco, the Pomo Indians specifically, and a 10-day Vipassana silent 10-day silent meditation retreat, Vipassana meditation retreat. So both those experiences happened around the same time, and it was like I was snapped back, like, and I'm like, oh. And ever since then, I call like spirit had my butt, and there's no way of going back. It's been like vertical ever since. So having that experience of consciousness, that witness embodied consciousness, unity consciousness, then I became I still am very passionate about learning what it is to have so much potential as human beings. What am I here? What is my meaning and purpose? How can I inspire yours and other people? So I became involved with the healing arts pretty young compared to most people. So I started a private practice like when I was 20, and now this is my now I just turned 60 this month, like a couple weeks ago. And so because I was so interested, like, oh my gosh, this is possible, like this is actually a possibility, then I spent a lot of my early life educating myself with brainwave biofeedback training and yoga and Hana somatic education and core energetic psychotherapy and quantum physics and shamanism and environmentalism and um, So yeah, so I've been really passionate under wanting to understand, how does this all work? How does this all come together? What can I do in this lifetime to live my life with passion and fulfillment? And so that's what I've done for a job, is to create. I had a private practice. I still have a private practice. So for 40 years, I've been helping people. And there was patterns happening in my clinical practice where people were transforming fairly quickly within a few sessions. Whatever the condition is, I witnessed major transformation. So I was like, okay, because that's what I'm interested in, is what is practical, what is accessible, what works. And then I had the inspiration of like, wow, if this is happening in my office one on one, and I'm seeing 4 or 5 people a week, can I help more people? I have the capacity and the interest to help. I want to I want to energize as many people as I can with what I know. And I'm really eager to learn. I'm always the student. So that's how Gentle Somatic Yoga, I'm the founder of Gentle Somatic Yoga. So from my practice as an integrative therapist, I brought all of that together and started experimenting with group movement classes, starting through the window of yoga. So there's more to this, and that I can share if you're interested, and you can ask questions if you'd like. But that's pretty much what I'm doing now. Is I travel around the world. I teach yoga teachers, yoga therapists, nutritionists, physical therapists, doctors, this method of brain to muscle repatterning, brain to muscle strengthening, nervous system regulation, and learning how to be free, whole self nourishment, whole self nourishment, whole self memory. And then there was a segment of time in my practice where I became a psychotherapist. So for 5 years, I took a break and became a full-time patient, because you had to have I thought I had to have 1,000 hours of psychotherapy as a client, as a patient. I paused my healing practice and became a full-time designer with architecture, interiors, and landscaping. So eventually, in this time that we have together, I would love to share with you my vision of what's really exciting me and what drew me to the Lumina Guild. So when I when I introduced myself to the guild, I introduced myself as a sacred designer, because that's what I wanted to manifest next. And since then, since the beginning, with that very first session we had together, now I see how it all dovetails and fits together. So,
Oh my gosh. Well, now you gotta tell me,
all right.
because I just want to
Yeah.
say too that there is something brewing on the fringes that is bringing together all of the things that I love the most in life.
Oh, really?
And they're all connected. And I see how the Lumina Guild is actually, it's not, well, that's true. I was going to say it's not necessarily the thing that's connecting them, but it kind of is, because as I birthed the Lumina Guild, it's allowing it all to move through me, if that's translating. Um, but I also think that we're being called to bring certain things together at this time that I associate with prioritizing artful ways of living, because it is a brain reorient. Because if you really break down, like, what does it mean for values to change? Because value schema is, in essence, the operating system of culture. So value schema is the underpinning of our operating system, and then the ones between us. And so if we ask the question, what makes values change? It would have to be that we start having different preferences, and that then we honor those preferences by how we choose to live our life.
Ah,
Do you see what I mean? Then our life,
yes.
there are like our intentional life design becomes our
Oh,
masterpiece. It becomes our spiritual path, and it becomes soul curation at its finest.
woo! I have like vibration
Oh
tingly everywhere as you're talking. Yes.
my
Yes.
okay.
High resonant with that.
Get,
Yes.
okay, so how's it coming together for you? Bring it.
It's around preferences, values. I brought up the process for me is about remembering, because I feel like each of us, I have, you have, we all have memory of the entire universe from the very beginning. And where I also feel like we're on the crest of the wave of consciousness, and we're all part of it from the beginning, and we're surfing the waves at the front. I really feel like that's what this guild
Mm,
invites us to do, is to surf these waves together, and
mm.
and Yeah, I just feel like we're in the crest of those bubbles. So
Mm, mm,
preferences, so I mentioned I just had this birthday, and we were talking before we started the recording. I study astrology. I love the model of astrology for philosophy and spiritual growth, as well as I love human design. I love gene keys. I love a lot of numerology, Jewish mysticism, anything that can help remember the process. So
mm,
um, my preference is so turning 60 this year, like I have this incredible wisdom body that I trust the
mm,
language of this so
mm,
much, and that's the pleasure of aging gracefully. Aging is that I have this wisdom experience, this embodied experience, and there's part of my life experience that I no longer identify with. So and I feel like no matter at any age, this can happen anytime. It's like a smudging or a saging off the static, that
mm,
which no longer fits. That is, for me, it translates as a lack of passion. Like it's like, yeah, I can do all those things. I'm good at XYZ. I can do a lot of things. I'm of service in a lot of ways. But now in this time of my life, for my own fulfillment, I want to feel passion. I want to feel drive. I want to feel this natural, like what just happened right now between
mhm,
us. That
mhm,
feeling of aliveness is
mhm.
affirming life force energy.
Yeah. Have you heard of you probably heard of Barbara Marx Hubbard?
Oh yeah.
She coined this phrase suprasexual co-creation. I don't know if you
Ooh,
remember that one.
no, but
Suprasexual co-creation. And to me that's what you just described. It's like it's impassioned, it's alive, and it
yeah.
happens in the two space, but we're not actually having physical sex, but there's something
Yeah.
explosively going on, you know?
Creation.
Yes.
Creation.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes. It's interesting that you would do.
Mm.
Did you? I'm sorry.
No, no. Yeah, yeah. Let me throw this in there.
Yeah.
It's the thrill. It's the thrill of witnessing what's possible become possible in each unfolding moment because each of you are leaning in and saying yes at the highest possible edge of your own unfolding experience.
Okay. Why I'm shaking right now is because as I mentioned, I took this 5 year pause. Right before I took that pause, I was living on the Big Island of Hawaii, living in a house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It was a
Wow.
design that wasn't built while he was alive. And now they're some of my very best friends, the people that own it, they've since sold it. But I lived in a house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It was very futuristic. It faced 5 or 6 volcanoes. It was expansive. It was incredible. But living in that space, it informed me how spaces are part of what I call whole self nourishment. Our spaces affect who we are, can affect and influence who we are. So when I left the Big Island and started studying core energetic psychotherapy, the roots of that is Wilhelm Reich. This is going to tie around to what you just
Mm,
highlighted.
mm,
Wilhelm Reich wasn't a really well-known, famous psychologist at the time, but he was buddies with Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud. But his theory was orgasm theory. So for me, that resonates with what you're saying because to have a physical orgasm, or I guess it could be mental and emotional as well, but is to let go of control
mm,
and move and lean into the pleasure of something, even of the unknown. But there's a path that one can take to surrender and let go. And in that process, that's how an orgasm arises. You can't be in control. You got to be out of control. So, and that can be an extremely pleasurable experience in a safe container with consent. And so that's when you said that, that's what I feel like we have right as a human being to experience that life force energy that just is part of who we are all the time. But it's life can be orgasmic when we tune in and let go and trust into the
mhm,
container, safe
mhm,
containers,
mhm,
safe
mhm,
consensual containers.
mhm. I think that's why I love the Lumina Guild so much because I say it's like a gestational sac for meta creators. And then we could say, what is a meta creator? I actually do want to say something about that in a minute, but um, because we do need crucibles, you know, crucibles, it's where the alchemy happens. So we get to have these crucibles where I don't totally know what's going to happen. I just know that there's cool people that are being called in, and that you know, seemingly spontaneously incredible magic can reveal itself.
so curious. I love that we're in this flow right now, Tiffany. This is so fun for me because you just mentioned the word container, and for me, that's when I introduced myself to Lumina Guild. I have this passion now that I've been in the healing arts for 40 decades, and I have been a high-end designer of architecture, interiors, and landscaping. So the containers are so important to me as like what I am looking forward to do is being with other people like yourself that want to create these sacred spaces in which we can actually explore together in. So the containers actually can be, you know, spiritual retreat centers,
Mm,
temples,
mm,
spas, places of destination which we can remember, sweat lodges, cacao ceremonies, sound healings, essential oil information exchange, all of
mhm.
these things. But there is a container, and that container is, it breathes, it moves, it expands, and
Uh,
it contracts. It's
uh,
dynamic. I think that the container can be dynamic.
mm.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. There's three things popping into my head. One is uh, it's like a uh, affirming what you said about the spaces being important. I'm thinking about physical spaces in this
Yeah.
case because I don't know how long ago it was. Some 5, 7, 8 years ago. Some since Rory and I've been together, and we got together in 2013. So I yeah, it was right around we got married. Anyway, I remember now. I remember. I do have to tell this story. Okay,
Please.
so you just don't know what you don't know till you realize that you didn't know it when you get to know it like that. So I had no, even though I had traveled a lot, I had no idea the level of sophistication and beauty that could exist in spaces that were really thoughtfully done. Oftentimes with, probably extensive budgets or something where they could really work with so many different elements to create the remarkable. And Rory and I took our wedding cash and we went to Italy, and we went and stayed in Venice kind of spontaneously. And we just decided to take a, I don't know, I think it was almost all the cash that we had left and get one night in this room in Venice on the water. It was
Mhm.
by leaps and bounds more than I had ever paid for a hotel room. And I
Mhm.
mean, when we walked in the space, I had just never felt like that before. It gave me access to a whole like palette of qualitative feelings in my body and my mind, and sort of how my emotions moved just by walking in and seeing what was in front of me, and then stepping on the marble, and then making an espresso, and
Ah.
then getting into the bed, and the the
Mm.
the feeling of the sheets. Like every single thing did something different to me. And after that, I became really quite
Wow.
mildly obsessed with that
Mm.
phenomena,
Hmm.
how spaces can alter consciousness, and how important that is to the development of human potential.
Totally.
Mm.
Yes. And I don't know, Tiffany, that sounds like an amazing experience. You brought me there. I was like there with you for a moment. I'm like, yes, yes. And there's a term that sometimes I use, like the future self. I love, like, one of my highest qualities, one of my love languages, my top love language is to be present
Mm,
with what is and to be in
mm.
union with another. It's like that's like phew. And so, and this concept of future self, because we're planting seeds, we are present with each other and we're creating this future self. So I love to hear your story about this sensuous environment that invited you to expand into deliciousness. So,
Yes,
and I
exactly
just
right.
got back from Kauai like 4 days ago, and it was an Airbnb. And I'd like to share with you a little story because it has to do with this.
Please.
Because I live in Tucson, Arizona, and we just had a rough summer. We've been in drought. It's super hot, very dry. I don't think I'll spend another summer here again. It wasn't healthy for my soma. So I get
Mm.
to Kauai. We have this beautiful Airbnb right by the beach, me and my best friend, one of my best friends. And the ocean is like 3 minute walk. And I get there a day earlier and I have this inspiration. It's kind of what I do all the time anyway. When I have permission, is I reorganize the space. I cleared away all the surfaces. I put away a lot of the personal things that were like there's like signs saying do not use this switch, coffee filters here, Wi-Fi password there. And I'm like, I just felt it was so loud in there. Like, wait a minute.
Mm.
I just put all that stuff away. And my friend brought a 50-pound piece of luggage with art supplies. And so it was so great that I had created all these surfaces. So for me, even though the Airbnb wasn't like a five-star uh, resort, we made it that way. We hung up our
Mm.
own right. We covered the TV with silks, and before we know it, we're creating. But it became this very sensual environment with the
Wow.
misty rain and the sound of the ongoing waves coming in just the right volume. And again, it's to affirm with what you're saying. Like the space created this container. The container created a space where the elements informed me, and I could engage with my environment. It was almost like sensory feedback of where the
Mm.
yeses were, like riding that wave of where's the yes wave is a wave of creation. Who am I now, and
Mm.
who am I becoming next, with
Mm.
pleasure,
Mm.
with pleasure.
Will you say that whole last sentence again? Can you access it? The yes wave is.
Yeah, like what I enjoy feeling in life is riding the yes wave. The yes wave for me is tingly, like that just happened, a
Hmm.
feeling of buoyancy, lightness,
Hmm.
expansion of my field of awareness.
Hmm.
Sometimes I have what I call holy moments where things get a little fuzzy and I feel like I'm entering a tunnel or something. But like so the yes current is this life affirming energy that's coming in through sensation, through my body, is when I know that I'm aligned with a generative decision. Just like I'm aware of a no because it feels contracted and not as comfortable. So
Hmm.
what I just shared I think, was that writing that yes wave, um, then it could create the next choice point for more pleasure, which can
Mm.
then create more a sense of more fulfillment too.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's the future self.
Mm.
Because a lot of systems are breaking down and they're not working anymore for a lot
Mm.
of people. And a lot
Hmm.
of people aren't in touch with what their passion is. So back to
Hmm.
this conversation about environments and
Hmm.
containers, I
Hmm.
feel like when our nervous systems feel safe, then we have access to play, creativity, intuition, heart wisdom. Did I say play?
Hmm. I think so.
Playfulness.
Hmm.
So I feel like containers can offer a space where the nervous system can relax
Hmm.
without just intuitively.
Wow, so good. I want to, it's so funny because I can feel there's this stream in my mind that's saying, you should probably ask him some questions like this, like more interview like. And then there's this other part that's just like, I just want to ask the next question that's
Mm,
coming up
mm.
because
Go
it's
for it.
coming up and it
Go
feels
for
okay,
it.
exciting. Um, hmm. I want to feel if this is the direction that feels nice to take. Yeah, okay. I think that there's like an interface point here. One is that I genuinely want to know about what your kind of teaching precepts are or your teaching tenets are. And connected to that, I have a question about something that I like to call divine unsafety. I have to just say, I didn't make up that word. I heard it once. I was studying with Dr. Clarissa Estes, and there was my roommate at the time. She utilized that phrase, and I really liked it because there's also, while I hear and understand everything you're saying about safety and agree completely, I also recognize this element of divine unsafety, which is where it's important for us to get out of our comfort zone in order to sort of, I don't know if this is the right word, aggregate or like rub up against our own edge, creative friction. Like creative friction usually requires that we get a bit out of our comfort zone, which is also why I like to travel. And that's what I refer to as divine and safety. So how might that fall in your overall teaching? Because clearly your teaching includes the need, the necessity for safety.
I love your question. Thank you. Yeah. Well, just a little bit ago, I think I was surprised that I used this word, this dynamic relationship, because it's clear that there's a law of the universe of expansion, often followed by contraction, and
Mm-hmm.
that just seems to be um, the way things are. There must be universal truth, at least in my life it is. And I think in quantum physics also, I understand that we're standing waves of light. Each of us are like antennas, emitting energy with every thought, every emotion. And like a wave with a pebble into a pond, it ripples out and then it comes back in. And that's what a lot of people call the law of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
simplified, but it's way more multidimensional for me than that. But to answer your question, honoring that that it seems both are necessary, or both are just true in creation. I was just in Hawaii, so here's these ancient volcanoes that came out of the ocean and erupted, formed earth, formed this most beautiful earth I've ever seen, just waterfalls and ferns and orchids and dolphins and whales and just like and then at any moment, at least in other islands, that can explode, destroy life, and then the beaches come back. You know what? So there, it just seems to be part of that. So I appreciate what you're saying. I don't, living in bliss and enlightened state. I don't. It's just not. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in teaching that. So back to your question.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to how I created this method, Gentle Somatic Yoga, it's a somatic movement. It's a brain to muscle reeducation, learn to self-regulate. Is that amnesia, temporary amnesia shows up in the body. So in my life experience, I'm curious to know if it is for you,
Mm-hmm.
that we store trauma, we create defense structures. When we feel threatened, then we create armoring throughout the body, known as stiffness, tightness, posture imbalances. And so those places of discomfort in gentle somatic yoga, we actually lean into, we actually discover and find out, where is that click? Where is that pop? Where is that place of numbness? Where is that place of tenderness? So in the method that I've created, it's actually to lean into those maybe uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
places, those amnesic places, so that there's parts of the brain, the newer parts of the brain in human evolution. That's where we have voluntary control of our physiology. So we can control our breath rate. We can change and shift our brain waves. We can change our muscle tone. We can change our galvanic skin response, which is cold or hot or moist. There's a lot of things that we do have choice over, and that's my biggest passion with all the work that I do, is to help a person, myself and other people, come back to choice points. So
Mm-hmm.
these places of contraction could be very good feedback to be like, there you are. That's how it is. Okay. To invite us to go into it. And then from that place, can we create space? And that invitation is, there's a natural place that can happen of expansion. So riding the waves of these lows and highs, what other people, well, lows and highs, discomfort, uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
states, and comfortable
Mm-hmm.
states.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think they're both important. And it's just a thrill when we can return back to a choice point. If
Mm-hmm.
we're feeling fight or flight or sympathetic nervous system, fight, freeze, fawn, whatever, and we can go, wait a minute, okay, yes, I am. Yes, I am. This is the truth of the moment. Can I come back into neutrality? And then that's when freedom can happen, is in that choice point. So that's what I love teaching. I love teaching that we have choice points. When are they? How are they? And back to architecture, I feel like that is another choice point.
In okay, before we go there though, I the reason
Yeah,
why I'm smiling and laughing so
yeah,
much over here, not laughing
yeah,
but smiling, is
yeah.
because it's like it's exactly my the core of my teaching too. We just you use slightly different words than I do, but hearing you say it, and it's just so delightful. Like yes, yes, yes. That teaching is coming through some, available vehicles, I think, and it comes through you and your work that you're doing with the gentle somatic yoga. It comes through me and my work that I'm doing with the aroma point therapy, because when we place an oil on a point, that's what opens up that space. The quantum pause, I call it. It gives us access to the choice point, and then the rest of the teaching that I'm often going into is all just here to highlight that
Mm,
the locus of identification of me, if I'm wanting to access more power, is me as chooser.
yes.
Me as chooser. Now,
Yes.
because there's so many different points of identification
Yes.
of self, is there not? Like in any moment,
Yeah.
I can identify with myself in so many different ways. But if I stop and I identify myself as the one choosing where I place my attention, all of the sudden I become like a
Mm,
vessel for next level discernment, which I actually think is required in today's world, to not like lose your mind, to not go
absolutely.
batty, and to not totally, sort of, I got this image of when topsoil blows off because it gets so dry and so parched. And if we don't exercise our power to choose, we don't sort of drop into the juiciness of life. We don't engage with it. And so we become drier and more brittle, and drier and more brittle, and more dead, more numb, all those things. Wow, I love that this is your teaching. I didn't know.
Yeah, well, and I feel like this is a language, our first language, body.
Mm,
You
mm,
have a body, I have a body. Doesn't matter what age, ethnicity, sexual orientation, class system, like this is our first language, is the body. So in my experience, there's messages coming through all the time. And I've actually proved it's evidence proven now, science proven that there is sensation on the body with every thought and every emotion. So this is our feedback system. So when I was sharing with you, my tagline is follow the yes, follow the inner yes. And sometimes we got to experience the no to find the yes. But
mhm,
I'll be curious how you feel about this. It's like, I know when I'm in alignment with, when I'm discerning and I can take in the information, not only here, but here and here. How does it translate through my body? Am I gritting my
mm,
teeth? Am I holding my breath?
mm,
Am I whatever I'm doing? Like, am
mm,
I relaxed or am I? So it's like the body's constantly
mm,
showing us,
mm,
showing me, like, where is the next generative step? Am I listening or am I bypassing? And there's no judgment about
mhm.
that. We all have our own timing. So I feel like this is a really beautiful vehicle, an incredible container to learn how to make these discerning choices. I call it nourishing generative life decision. Uh,
Nourishing generative. I really liked that
yeah.
you've said it a few times. The next generative step. I really like that.
Yeah, the next generative, like, okay, well, yesterday I loved a bowl of soup. Today I'm going to have a salad or whatever. It's like, wait
Mm-hmm.
a minute, is that my truth? Is that what my body wants today?
Mm, mm, mm,
Is this relationship mirroring back an expression of myself that I enjoy? Or is this
mm,
relationship that I'm having with another, creating another expression that I don't enjoy? For me, the body's always telling the truth.
mm-hmm. So good. Okay. Is there anything that I really want to read you something. I want
Sure.
to read you something and know what you think about it. I'm going to
Okay.
like do it while we're on the interview. And
Okay.
I also am planting this question because I'd like
Okay.
you to answer it before we end the interview.
Okay. All
Are you
right.
ready for
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
Are you
I'm
ready?
like, oh.
um, it's just what else would you like us to know about you? That's going to be the final question.
Was
Ah,
that the?
that's paralyzing. Is
Oh
it?
no, no. I have chills.
Oh,
Well,
really?
first of all, Tiffany, I'm so excited to be with you right now. Like, I'm looking at these essential oils that I have on my desk. So I love using oils. I can't wait to learn from you. And when you're talking about, like, I'm just like, so I'm thirsty over here. I'm like, share.
I know.
Um, well, it's just I suppose is I love co-creating. Like, I love self-regulating, like bringing myself back into choice point and being around others who are doing the same thing. And I love diversity, and I appreciate like the wisdom that you have, the wisdom I have. Like I want people to know that I am consciously creating community. Like that's where the part why we're
Mm,
here, right?
yeah.
Is that I'm here to play and have fun and co-create. That's like one of my highest values is like, okay,
Mm,
since I know that I am part of the creation, then what would I like to experience next? Well, I want to experience pleasure and delight through design and sharing spaces, meaningful shared life experiences. It's really, I guess I wanted to share that that's my authentic passion. So to be here with you and having this discussion is like,
yeah.
and so it's a conscious choice. Like I'm seeking out my tribe, my family, my community. Like, come on, let's
Let's
do this.
go.
Let's
Let's,
take advantage of this beautiful gift. Let's remember together and consciously create the future self.
yeah. What's coming? Consciously create what's coming. Is there anything that you want to say about what you're doing right now to that aim? Like, are you buying a big piece of land? And like, I mean, are there things that are coming into form for you around that?
Yes. So just this past week, I knew this interview was coming up, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, hope I'm coherent with the audience to help bridge that. Yes, I'm in the healing arts. I'm a therapist, integrative therapist, movement educator, and I'm a
Mm,
designer. How do those two things fit together?
mm,
So one example is I've been invited into a project in Mexico that you can only get to by boat, and it's going to be a five-star eco chic hotel, but it's going to be an educational model for environmentalism to support the indigenous culture. Part of the profits going directly back to the community. Part of the project enhances the watersheds that start in other places of Mexico and end up in this part of the ocean. Like, so it's already happening. So I've been invited to help design what they're calling a temple. And so I'm so thrilled because since I go out and seek places to hire, that's what I do. That's what I've done my whole career is I go and seek out these retreat places that are exotic and interesting and sensual. So to be invited to actually create the space because I have a lot of experience of environments that I know that can invite more of self out. So
wow.
I'm so excited that to be a part of these projects and actually facilitate and or co-facilitate and or just come together in community. So that's what I'm looking for.
Wow.
That's what I'm intending to manifest right now is to be a part of a project of spaces like that, like spas, retreat centers, yoga
Yes.
studios, wellness centers, any place where we can gather together in mindful, conscious global community. So that's how it's blending for me. That's where the crest of the wave for me is those are both my passions. I want to continue helping people one-on-one or in groups with, methods of like gentle somatic yoga. And I want to create sacred spaces using sacred geometry, which is the language of the universe, using oils and plants and food and dance and meditation and tantra and vitamin F, fun.
Vitamin F.
More vitamin F. If it's not fun, it's not going to be my next generative choice.
I know what you mean. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, you pulled that together beautifully. Okay, I'm going to take us out with a little I'll give a little reading and then we'll share some closing things. Let me grab. All right, I'm just going to pause this for 1 sec while I grab my book. All right, so I grabbed my book. This is the inner nature of essential oils, and this is the proof. So this is the first one that somebody could hold in their hands, and I've been just
Oh, wow.
devouring it the
Got
last
chills
couple of days.
again.
It's so rich and so beautiful. Okay,
Mm,
so this is what I wanted to read because it's totally connected to the theme, I would say, of what's been coming through us. So, Rosemary, its nickname is the bringer of bee wisdom, BEE, and it's all about the next evolution of how we experience being an individual within a collective. Okay.
mm,
Um, here we go. This will probably be like a 3 minute read, I guess. Not 2 minutes. The first time I meditated with rosemary essential oil, I was in Ojai, California, in the beautiful home garden of the beloved spiritual teacher, J. Krishnamurti. In that splendid garden, I felt suspended in time. as if I was in a magical fairyland. The sun illuminated everything, and all the plants and trees were sparkling and twinkling as I relished the experience of 100% embodied infinity.
Ooh.
Entering meditation, I resisted the temptation to interpret my unfolding experience, instead, focusing my attention on awareness itself. I noticed that my hearing grew extra sensitive. I could hear the faintest sounds from across the garden as pristinely as if they were happening at my side. The hum of the bees filled my audio canvas, and I was in awe of the music they made. It was as though I could hear the sound of every individual worker bee. They were all busy with the same activity, but each had a unique vibrational signature that varied ever so slightly. Bursting with inspiration, I emerged from the meditation and poured words onto the page. Tears flowed as I gasped the profound core teaching about inner nature that Rosemary had shared with us. Rosemary is for remembrance. It helps us recall self to self with a capital S identification, dedication to spiritual connection, and the destiny blueprint of each human soul. From a place of transrational recognition, I understood how healthy hive consciousness operates within the human psyche, and that its function does not necessitate the loss of personal uniqueness. Rosemary expanded my view of both sides of the polarity of autonomy and communion. From this vantage point, it became easy to recognize the true singularity of my soul and the evolving magic of who I am as it operates in the communal field of consciousness. I could see that I am not separate from any expression of the one, whether it is unfolding personally or collectively. Authentic self-expression does not require choosing one fixed identity, as I had assumed. When I opted out of the temptation of choosing one or the other to feel safe, I got to experience myself as a trans-dimensional human.
Mm. Ooh.
I know.
I'd have to howl right now. I hope you don't mind, but it's just like, ah, so beautiful, Tiffany. Mm,
Yeah, thank you for
mm,
receiving that.
mm, mm. Yummy, yum, yum, yum. This is your choice with that is just again like in alignment for me. Like I feel like we're in this beautiful coherence right now. I started off the interview sharing that when I was 19, I had these two experiences of unity consciousness. And the way
Mm,
that you described it right now through your book is just, it's so beautiful. It feels like an invitation for all of us to remember part of it's individually and it's enhanced when we come together as a community, as a conscious community. Like the hive, that
mm,
hive consciousness
mm.
has me super excited. So thank you for bringing that
Wow.
through.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, is there anything that you want to say for anyone here connected to your interview? We can put websites and that kind of information, but if there's any closing words you have.
Just gratitude,
Mm.
gratitude, blessings of remembrance, love, peace, and vitamin F. Let's keep having fun. Let's what do we want to create next? This is what I ask myself,
Baby.
but it's really coming through right now. It's like I ask myself all the time, like, what would I like to experience next? What do we want to experience next?
Oh my gosh. Thank you for such a joyful, delightful, totally satisfying and satiating conversation.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Okay, and thank you to anyone who's watching this at any time you're watching it. You were part of what came through us. So thank you.
Absolutely.
All
Mm.
right. Okay, let me stop this. Stay on.